Guys, this is the fun of technology. Let's see if I can get you all back. Just give me a second here. All right, let's see if this is working now. Okay, it might be. Okay, Linda, hello. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Oh my goodness, technology. It's a wonderful thing. I am so sorry, guys. So sorry. I'm not quite sure where it broke off. I didn't lose um my internet. Hi, Kalinda. Kalinda, how you doing? Anthony, okay. All right. Gwen did wonders. I should always keep my phone near me. Gwen always lets me know when I freeze. Okay, so I am stamping on the 6x6 Flora. Oh, how you doing? Okay. So, what we did, I'm going to put my cap on my ink or else I'm going to wear it. So, we did all of that stamping. Oh, I hope everyone comes back. All right, so we have our main panels. Now, I'm going to keep this one off the side because there's a little double going on here. But this is what I'm looking for, actually, right here. All right, so we have all of these. And then we have these that we stamped. All right, one's on a floral, one's just on a, this is our pattern paper. Here's another pattern paper that we did. Again, strange size, we don't need actual sizes. And then we have this one. And then there's another regular one. And then we did our 4, hello Gwen, welcome back. Oh, okay. Thank you guys. So sorry. I hope everybody else realizes that we're back over here. And then we have our 4 watercolor panels. Now, what could we possibly do with all of these? So, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to cut some, I want to get some backdrops, and I am going to use black cardstock for that. I don't need that. I'm done stamping. We can move that over there. All right. So I'm just going to cut some panels. Recreate. I would never be able to recreate that purple background, Anthony. You're funny. You know that. So these are going to be cut 5.5 by 4.25, because these are going to be, of course, the base of our cards. So here, I'm going to show you all kinds of different ways to get these cards together. And with this, you can get a lot of the 2-for-1s. Let's say that. Or you can create a set or whatever it is you're looking for. And you can use all kinds of tools for this. So the first one that I'm going to show is this one. And I'm going to pull the purple out. And I'm going to grab my double-sided tape. And I'm going to put tape on the back side of this. Because that is going to flatten my panel out. I do swear by this tape. It's not cheap, but it lasts forever. Alright, so I'm going to get this on one of our black panels. If I can get the release paper off. I'm going to get up on my tippy toes. And I can't see that. I love my black mat. But when you're working on black cardstock, you really can't see it. We're a little off, and that is okay. Let's see. It's flat. All right. Put that back there. And I'm going to fussy cut. Did I freeze up again? Okay. And I'm going to fussy cut the centerpiece out. And yeah, I don't know how she does that. I do not know how our Biddy does that. There we go. Okay. And I'm going along the inside line. And I'm hugging around that line. So we may see this, we may not. That ink is still wet, and that's okay. I'll hold it with my nails. And then we can take this and inset that right onto our piece. So I am going to grab my glue. You can prop it up if you want. Keep my hand there for a second. Oh my. Yeah, I don't know how I would not be good with a Dick Blick near me. Oh my goodness. So then we have that. And then pulling in the Zentangle form, we can add our graphite along these darker lines. And down in here as well. And we can, I'm just going to add it everywhere. And then we'll come in with our blending stump. And all of those smudges will just go away. And there you go. So you can create this 2-level effect when it comes to that. And then for these, we can add our white charcoal if we want, just along the edges to brighten it up. We don't have to go crazy, because I like the whole darkness effect that this is giving us. And that will go right down the center. A white chalk pencil and a number 2 pencil. That's all it is. And you have your card front. So that's our first one. For the next one, I think I'm going to work on this one. So we can pull in our piece that we stamped on our pattern paper. Now, remain calm with what I'm about to do. And we can take this piece and we can match it up to our other piece. Now we've got 2 completely different looks going on here. So let's get our double-sided tape on that. Okay. Now I'm paranoid I'm going to freeze again. Anthony, how can you not take a credit card with you? And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to get this onto our panel. I just need to see one side. Up on my tippy toes. And for this one, we're just going to glue this down. And again, all you're doing is just matching up your lines. That's all we're doing on this. Because remember, it's the same image. So I'm going to get my glue on this. Sorry for the scratchy sound. And because we're using our liquid glue, we've got that time to get it in place. There we go. And then I'm just going to cut the excess away. I don't want those to get all gunky. And yes, I know, I covered up the black background because that's actually what I was going for, honestly. Because you get these two completely different looks on your card. And again, the one side, we can add the white because our watercolor was a little darker. And if you notice, whenever I use the white chalk, I don't come in with a blending stump. I use my finger. And here I'm just going to go down the center of them. And then we smooth that out. And then on this side, we can add our graphite. Or you can leave it just be. You don't have to add the graphite. You can just leave it alone. And for this one, I'm just going to go on each side, not being particular. Because this, we are going to use the blending stump to blend this out. And there you go. Two-Face. All right, so you have that. That's our second one. And then for our third one, I think I'm going to go this way. And this one we can just have fun with. So we can still collage when it comes to our piece. And you know me, when I collage, I tear paper. And before I put this on the black, I am going to put this one up onto our piece. And again, all you're doing is lining up your pieces. So we're going to glue that one down. So it's like you're creating your own little stamped collage. And then this one, I turn it this way. I want this to actually be in the center, but I don't want it to come from that side. So we'll go here. And then we'll go here. And now I forget which way I went. So if I take this, that was like that. So that means this is coming down like this. Just like that. So liquid glue is definitely your friend on this because it will then give you time to put that down. And then for our last one, I need this piece. And we'll pull that off. And then that one's just going to go right there. And then we'll trim off the excess. And this, I am going to cut. I did it again. I'm going to cut this one out. Because I want to save this piece. All right. That one we're going to save. So now we have that. And this, you don't have to add any of the graphite. You can just leave that alone, especially if you're on pattern paper. But for this, I am just going to add the chalk to the center, just where the watercolor is. And again, I do not blend out the watercolor. I just do that with my fingers, just to soften that edge. And now you've got that. All right, let's get this one up on our panel. Now, if you have, the last thing that we can do now, you could either use a die or hand punches. And that's what I'm actually going to use. I can't see. I know, you're all saying it. I hear you. Here we go. We've got that one. So with this one, we're automatically going to get this onto our panel. I'm still not for, okay. Yeah, Dick Blick near me would be, oh, that would just be, yeah, See, I remembered this time. All right, we're going to get this on our panel. Okay. What I'm going to use, and this is where this is going to come in as well. So hang on for 1 second. Oh, that glued down, didn't it? And I will be right back because, oh no, I'm good. Nope, pacify. Just me. Everything's just falling. And we're good. I'm going to use my hand punches. Now, you can certainly use the orbs that are also on this stamp set, but get that one. Got that one. There's nothing like a good circle punch. And then that one. So now you could either take this piece, prop it up, make a shaker. It's one way you can do it. Or we can take this piece, layer it up onto this panel, and we just have that. Or, see how many different ways we're just going here? Or you could take one of the stamped images, all those different colors, punch out all those circles and mix and match them on all your watercolor panels. Gonna save that. Sneak preview of what's coming. See, even Max said that. Did everyone hear Max? Yeah. Okay. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take these circles, and it's like a puzzle. We're going to put the puzzle back together. And again, just follow the lines. But this time, when I do this, I'm going to use double-sided foam squares, and we're going to prop these up. So I'm going to keep you in suspense for 1 second, because yes, my cat is calling. Okay, I'm going to be right back. Hang on. I know, come on. Okay, I'm back. Did I freeze? No, please tell me I didn't freeze. And again, just to keep that difference, if I can get my double-sided foam squares. There we go. Now, when you're working with the double-sided foam squares, you just got to know where you're placing it. Although, I'm going to put glue down. And that'll give me wiggle room, because now I gotta find this again. And what I find is easy to match up are the lines. So the R lines, that's what they're called when it comes to this. And then just slowly bring it down. But again, remember guys, it doesn't have to be perfect. So that's one. And I have no idea where this one goes. So it's like a puzzle, but I think it's really cool. And I know this technique has been out for a while. Okay, that's this one. At least I think that's this one. Well, it's going to be that one now. And we'll put that there. Here's our last one. And I think that one goes this way. Yes. Did I put clip? Right there. So now we have that. So the possibilities on this technique, and again, we've all seen it. I did not come up with this. I know I've seen this around. But then we can take one of our chalk pastels and we can use that to add color to the design if we want. And add our shading. Or you can use the same color. You can use a green or whatever. This chalk pastel is from the Stabilos. I think I said that right. Now these, I do use a blending stump with these. But you can use a die, whatever it is you would want to do, and it can be any shape. That's the fun of it. And that's what I was going for. So the difference that what I was thinking about is, okay, pattern paper. We can do that paper piecing technique. We can do a collage. Again, just have fun with that. And there you go. That's your next one. And then don't do anything to the background. Let that just be in the background. Or stamp this one in the black. Use a chalk pencil of a color or the graphite. But when you stamp this, stamp it in a light gray or a light green. Or if you're using a color chalk in a lighter shade of that color chalk. Again, you can just do all kinds of different combinations with that. So that was what was stuck in my head. So I hope, and again, you can do any of these techniques with the stash that you have. So just have fun with it. Why not tear paper and splatter it across? I'm going to save these two. Why not do that? Have fun with it. All right. Now, let's get back to our other ones. I just need to find my table. My table has been lost. And you know, if there's anything that I ever recommend, you guys know me. I'm not showing what you need to buy or anything else. But if there is one thing that I will say, circle hand punches. Oh, they are a godsend. They really are. You can do so much with these. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. All right, let's bring in these two. Still trying to find my desk. Hee hee. Oh my goodness. Okay. Here we go. All right, let's. All right, let me get the tape off on this one. This one I am going to take my time with. It's like watching paint dry. Masterboard just using circles would be absolutely awesome, Anthony. Yes. It really was, Holly. It was just stuck in my head. All of these ideas. What I will say with this collection of stamps, and again, I will be pulling them in so that you can see them all. And again, they're on pre-order right now, and they will start shipping after the 12th of April. Are just, I feel that this collection is very unique to all the others. It's more versatile. It's more expansive. And while it's celebrating the A2 card maker, because I believe we should all be celebrated, though, let me say that, it can also be for that 5x7, or for me, that's 7x7. And you'll see how you can actually expand out the designs. All right, so here's that's how that panel came out. All right, so you can just see, and remember, watercolors dry back. They look really vibrant and bright when you first put them down, but they will absolutely dry back. It doesn't mean, though, that watercolors can't be vibrant. I mean, this is vibrant. You know, it's a lighter shade. You know, this yellow, I mean, that's vibrant. It just looks like jumps out at you. Wow. You know, the teal, she's vibrant. But they soften back. They're not as dark. They're not as rich. This one here, I wanted to make sure that we had darker down here and lighter up here. And we're going to do that. We're going to get this darker. All right? And we're going to focus in on this one right now. I am going to put my double-sided tape on this. And I'm going to put this on another panel of Bristol so that not only can we get it flat, but I just want to work on this before I put it onto the backdrop. And then one last skinny piece. Oh, Holly, thank you. I'm glad you like them. One more. All right, now let me get a scratch piece of cardstock here. This should work. And we're just going to get this down, and then I'm just going to trim around it. So on top of the watercolor, I'm going to add ink. Both in, okay. It's an awesome tape. We're going to wiggle it. Wiggle it just a little bit. And then I'm just going to line this up along this edge. And then I'm going to trim this down. There we go. There's our panel. Now, what does this measure? Okay. Oh, okay. All right, so we got to trim this down just a little bit. I'm going to pull in the big guns. Now, I think we are okay. No, I want to go here. So that's 4 3/4. I do find with this cutter, I cut better going up. And this is going to be 6 3/4. So yes, this is going to be going on a 5x7 card base. And we're going to have that white border. I know, shocking, right? It's not black. So the inks with this color, the inks that I think that are actually going to work is night, dusk, and sky. And I'm going to use my Simon Says Positively inks. And I don't know, but I think it's time. Yeah, it's time to possibly clean these out. All right, so I'm going to start with Sky. And we're going to start at the top. I start off the card and I'll come on because I don't know how much or how little I want to add yet. Remember, we can always add. We can't remove. And I'm going to go down a third of the way. And I'm really just staying to that edge. Now I'm going to come in with dusk. Dusk is going to be a lot darker. And I'm not going for the perfect blend. I never go for the perfect blend. Never. My goodness, never. All right, and then we're going to hit it with night. All right, so that's just going to add just a little bit to that. I need to clean my hands. And I'm going to take this up over the baubles, the baby wipe. And you don't want to rub this too long because it will pill the paper. Don't have to use a baby wipe. You can just use, you know, paper towel that's wet, just a little bit. But you can see that watercolor was just sitting up there. Now, do you have to do this step? No. Maybe you liked not seeing all of these lines, and that's fine. It's just a different look. But also remember, you've got watercolor under there. So not only are you taking the ink off that's on top, you could be moving around the watercolor, and that's fine. All right, so now you can really see all of these lines. Very lightly. And I gotta clean my hands again. All right. Now, you can leave this just as it is. Yep, absolutely you can. Do you think I'm going to? Nope. Not at all. So fine liners, the beauty of fine liners, come in many colors. Now I'm looking for a specific color. Oh, not that. Oh, not that. That's purple. And I don't want to go with black. Yep, I like that one. I also like that one. Hang on. Yes, I have pens all over. All right. Again, you can leave this just the way it is. I'm going to zoom in. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to come around and very scribbly, I'm going to outline these. So it's kind of like mark making. Sorry for that horrible noise. And again, you're not retracing your previous line. You just want to go back and forth. You want to intentionally make it look imperfect and squiggle out. It's a technical term. Now, you could also, and again, you can do this with black. Just kind of going with the color motifs. And I do not know what color this is. I know this is PN number 243. It's a deep midnight midnight blue, like a grayish blue. And then if you want, you can connect these. And again, with inaccurate squiggles. So it's almost as if you're creating graphic art. And then just make sure that it's going off the page as well. And then you'll have that connection. And then in here, you want to thicken some of these lines. And you'll already have those areas to thicken and to round the corners. And you can just extend them out. And don't think about it. Just get in there and do it. I know, it's easier said than done. It took me, and I get it. I absolutely get it. But these rounding and the thickening of the lines adds to what you're doing. And it pulls it out. Or again, you can just leave it the way that it was. If you think that, nope, she just ruined it. And that's okay, if that's what you think. But you can see I'm not being too careful as I'm coloring or inking this around. I'm just looking for those spots that I can round out and extend. Again, the messier the stroke, sometimes the better it looks. But you can get lost in this. It's like fibrous tissue. And as you look away, you'll see those areas where like, I need a little bit more there. Okay, I need a little bit more there. And that's pretty much what I'm doing. As my head goes back, I'll see another spot. Yes, it could also be Diva Dance as well. Those are slim lines, just like BP did for a slimline card yesterday. Oh. And then if you wanted to, you could come in with another one as well. Just another accenting color. And again, you're just retracing those lines. And they're like the afterthought. And this is just like a gray. And now this is going to go up on this. Now the last thing that I want to do is I just want to go around the edge with a heavier graphite. That just means your H. So like if you've got drawing pencils, like an H8, this pencil here is what's called, it's by Generals, and it's called the 555. You can also use black soot, ink, or another type of ink, and you'll get the same effect. And then that I am just going to blend that out around the edge. And then that's going to become the frame. That's why I didn't want to put this onto a black panel. All right, let's put that onto our card base. And then we'll push that down. And I know I haven't put any sentiments on. Again, we do a lot of work. It's sometimes really tough for me to add sentiments to my cards. Really, really is. All right, so we got that one. And let's get these real quick up onto our card bases, because then at the end we'll have everything together. And see, even though I put that on, see, it's not really upside down. Always check your card bases. That's the other good thing when it comes to these types of designs. There's no up, there's no down. It's however you see it. They can go any way that you want them to go. Sometimes I'll see or say, okay, this, like this one, I was like, no, I want this to go this way. The only reason why I'm saying that is because I knew what I was looking at when I drew it, or as I was drawing it. So as the tangles, the tangles were just set in an order. So I know, okay, this is how this was sitting. All right. Here's our next 5x7. And again, it's just for the panel. Just going to bend that a little bit. This is going to sit on a black base. So I'm going to get that on there now. And I need to zoom back out just a little bit. There we go. And then we'll cut around this. I know, this drives people nuts. But to me, it's just an easier way to get the panel down. Now we're going to get that set there. Got that one set. And while I am doing that, this needs to get trimmed down. What size is that panel? 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. So we're going to trim this one down. So I'm going to trim this to 4 1/8. And then let's get that off. And let's see if we do that. That's going to be that. So this panel here is cut to just under 5.5. So it's like 5 3/8. Yeah, let's go with that. The eighth under the half. Let's go with that. And then this is 4 1/8. So like if I put this here, yep, that's what that is. So we are going to set this up on this, and it's going to have an extremely, or I want it to have an extremely scant black border. All right. I think every Harley just went by my house. So if you heard that, that's what that was. And now I know I don't need that anymore. Lots of release papers. Now let's pick that up so I know where to trim. Yeah. And then we'll get this on our card base. All right. So for our last two, we're going to work on this one first, and I'm going to pull in my chalks. And again, these are, that's not a chalk, that's a pencil. These are the Stabilos Carbofel. Carbofella? However you want to say that. And where the color of this chalk is, that's where we're going to add the chalk. So if you have, now if you don't have chalk pastels, you can use another layer of watercolor to do this if you want. You can use colored pencils if you want. Totally lots of choices. But I'm just changing the color of the chalk for what and where the watercolor landed. And I'm also going to go to the outside. In some areas. All right, now let's see what this looks like. And I just used one blending stump. Now, if you're using colored pencils, all you would do is just continuously use a light touch, putting your color down. All right, that's the green. And then I just rub it to clean it. And all I'm doing is just using or taking care of one color before I move on to the next one. And then cleaning it, and then coming in. And you can also blend these together. And then I do want to add I'm going to come off this. Because we can add all of our own embellishments. Who doesn't like a little fescue? Fescues are just too adorable. A tangle's so basic, but it does add a lot. Oh no, Mooka's coming out of my face. Nope, we're not going to do it. No Mooka. Nope. It's tempting, but no Mooka. So just by adding those pieces to this, it's now elongated this. It will fit on a standard A2 size card if you wanted to. Or for those of us that like a bigger card, just by adding that, we can elongate. I'm just rounding these. I feel they need to be rounded. As we tangle, we do that. We're like, okay, I'm feeling it. Yeah. We can elongate it and still keep its integrity for that. Gotta love the breakfasts you all eat. Oh, Kalinda, have a wonderful day. Yeah, I did spring cleaning yesterday. Oh. All right. For our last one, we can keep it simple. Absolutely simple. It's already on our base. We did a lot when it comes to our watercolors. what we can add I don't know if I want that one. We can come in with our gold and just create accents. So I'm going to put a gold dot here, or you can add some gems, you can add pearls. Absolutely. Here, I'm just going to add some teardrops into the center of our Tripoli. And they're just teardrops. And I'll add dots out here. Because I don't want to take away from the watercoloring that we did, but I just want to add a few accents. Into the mucas, I'm just going to add that highlight. You can do that with white. You could also have used a white gel pen on this. I like the accent of the gold. You can also come in on our poke leaf and add that fold that comes down. And it's just a bump out. That's all. And that's it. We have that. I am not going to add any sentiments. Nope. Nope. Just gonna put a few things away. Just a few. And then we will review our cards, because believe it or not, we did get through all of the cards, which I was glad for. All right. Like I said, the stamps have, the new collection has launched for pre-orders. All right, and these are the stamp sets here. So here we have the Tangled Jewel. There we go. So here we have these 3 baubles, and we did that card. It's different. It may not be for everybody, but it's just different. I like different. And we just focused on these. So here, if you're a 5x7 card maker, you could stamp this, put this in the center, and then have these orbs coming out from underneath it, because they are part of the main focal point. This will fit on an A2 size standard card, so if I put this on top, you can see it goes away. You don't see it. All right, so this will take up the panel of a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. You can turn this into a jewel by the way we color it, or you can set Mom in there. You can put Enjoy on top on vellum, and then we also have Enjoy It All, and then Be Beautiful is our sentiments there. So again, that's the Tangled Jewel, and that's the card that we did. So you can see how versatile, I mean, totally out there when it came to the stamp. Next one is a Tangled Romance. I put that on crooked, that's okay. So the sentiments are my happily ever after, my one and only, and then my love. So it's spring. Yes, I know Valentine's came back, but I always have to put some type of a heart. So we have our single. This is our card that we did here to accent it. And then we just added a few more fescues coming out to elongate it onto a 5x7. Again, this will fit onto a standard A2 size card, as will this. All right. And this one is this tangle here, but now we've got things coming out and peeking out and just saying, hello, how are you doing? All right. So this is a tangled romance. And that's our card. For our Tangled Sundays, you guys requested this, and you shall have it. So this is one that we tangled on our first Sunday tangle. We did this one. And I also added a couple toodles. Toodles. Can't help to say it that way. And these, again, if you're on a 5x7, here's a 5x7. If I put this here, toodle can be coming out from underneath it, or you can do an entire background with toodles and just keep stamping that, create a vine, so a border, you can create that as well. This, as you can see, will fit onto a standard A2 size card base, but it will take it up. So it takes up that real estate, and you can put your sentiment right across the center. Sentiments are bloom where you are planted, always and forever, and celebrate every day. And there's our card. Just have fun with watercolors. And we heat emboss that one. For the tangled fragments, that's what this one is called, and that's what this is. These are, in the Zentangle world, we use the term fragments, and that's what these are. This is a triangle fragment put into an orb. Now, if you don't want that into an orb, you can cut that away and just have a bunch of triangles coming on through the background. This is another fragment, and usually the fragments have a letter and a number. All right, this is Shattuck made into a fragment, and this is Braze or Bunza into a fragment as well. And then we just have this this shell, because I can't say that, this shell shape. Wow. That has all of these different fragments. Of course, we've got to have some flux in there, but then you can see all of these. These were created from what's inside here. All right, now this just fits on a standard A2 size. I mean, it goes from literally side to side, but it will fit. Remember, these are trimmed down. The black is where the 4 1/4 and the 5 1/2 go. So this will take up its real estate when it comes to this. But what's great, you can just stamp half of it. You can just stamp the lower half or the top half when it comes to that. Again, if you put it onto also a 5x7, you can have this and then all of the fragments dancing around, or you can just create a background using your fragments. When it comes to this, you can put these fragments up on top. Think about this on a 5x7, and then off of this one, we've got that fragment. Off of this one, we've got this fragment. Here, that one. Here, this one. Here, this one. So again, it could be exploding as those fragments are just popping off of this shell. So that was my thought process with that. Our sentiments are believe in yourself for all you do, and then sending a hug. Those are the sentiments with this. And these are the cards that we did. You can have a lot of fun with this one, paper piecing it, because I did put these aura lines in between. So I don't know if you can see that. Here it is. So we've got this double line. So again, you can fussy cut these out so that you can create a paper piece. So you can have all of these different colors going through this one piece if you wanted to. Here, scrap paper. And of course, we tore it. Yep. And then just inlaid it back in on top. This should have been brighter, but that's okay. Here, we just did half of it. Here's the watercolor side, and here's the pattern paper side. Here we had fun either die cutting circles or using a hand punch, just adding those pops with a colored chalk, and left this completely alone. Seeing that maybe in gray or even a green to create a tone on tone in the background, and having these popping off the page. And they are popped off with double-sided foam. And then finally our purple one, where we made a boo-boo, and it's only an opportunity. So we cut that out, put that down the center, and then we've got the purple on each side. All right, so that is the collection. Like I said, it is available now for pre-order. All right, it will start shipping after April 12th. On April 12th, it is a Sunday, so I will be here live, and I'm going to show you all the samples that I did, including these. These, of course, will be part of it when it comes to that collection, and then we'll probably make a card or two to show that, or maybe recreating a card from the samples so that you can say, okay, well, how did you do that? Maybe there's something that intrigues you, and you guys will be able to see that on April 12th. April 5th, it is a U.S. holiday for Easter. I'm sure it's a holiday all over. I will be here live on that Sunday. That is technically our first Tangle Sunday, so I will be here for that. So if you want to join me, please join me, and we can celebrate Easter together and celebrate the day as we tangle together. Okay, let's see if there's any questions. Okay, so I'm going to let you guys go if there's no other questions. Thank you so much for being here. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you to those who are part of the membership. I hope you're enjoying that and what we're doing there so far. More will be coming. I hope you enjoyed the color pencil video that I released recently. Very detailed into colored pencils there. And as always, I'm truly grateful for each and every one of you. I love you all. Thank you so much for being here. Have a wonderful week. I will talk to you next Sunday. Continue to stay safe and healthy. Take care of yourselves. And until then, see you later. Bye.